Previously on Elmcreek, I had all my fields to sow, so I got them all done with corn, wheat, sugar beet, as well as some oats. I also then had some sugar beets that I needed to harvest, which I got dumped off to the sugar mill once that was done before buying all my equipment for grapes. That includes two New Holland tractors, a mulcher, a pruner, a new trailer for the grapes, as well as a New Holland harvester, a fertilizer sprayer, and then also a cultivator. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode on Elmcreek. Just finished up some watching TV. I hope you guys are having a great day today. I am as well, and we have a lot to do today. We're looking forward to the episode. As you can see, we planted all our fields last episode. They now are ready to be fertilized, except for Big Field North. I might have planted sugar beet in there originally. So off camera, I have to go through it again and plant corn in there because that's what I wanted to plant. But yeah, I've got to get all of this fertilized today. So before we do anything else, let's get into these Rubicon 9000s and let's get them out onto the field doing some work for us. Just as I get the first sprayer going on this cornfield, I do want to get into some of the vine work that I have to do for our grapes that we planted last episode. As you saw, we bought all the equipment we needed for it. So I want to do that, as well as I want to make a couple changes to the farm. I know I've talked about selling a couple sheds in previous episodes and maybe moving a couple things around. So I want to look into maybe doing that. But like I said, I want to get these fields fertilized first. So let's get into the second sprayer. There goes sprayer number 2. Very nice. Oh, whoops. I hope our sprayer's okay. Thankfully, I don't think it's our brand new one that we bought a couple episodes back. Thankfully, it seems to be working, and we've got it going on field number 3. And once again, just because we have it and we have all those fields to do, I am going to get into our smaller, older sprayer, and we're going to get him working on the 4th field for today. There we go. Very nice. Our 4th sprayer is now going. Now, if you guys do remember, I have talked about getting rid of these sheds as they're sitting for the most part empty. That one's got a couple implements in it, and this one is completely empty. And I think what I'm going to do is get rid of these sheds, open up a bit more of the space back there where there's just some brush and trees. Probably get rid of this shed here. Keep the driveway, but get rid of the shed and move the shed more this way, just going east-west instead of north-south like this one here is. So let's hop in the air while those fertilizer sprayers go, and let's get some of these sheds sold off. We'll get rid of shed number 1 and shed number 2. There we go. And while we're at it, we will also get rid of these lamps because they will be in the way. And as you can see, we do have a bit of space here and also a bit more space here. So what I think I'm going to do is knock out these trees here and also the brush. Move this shed over just to this space here, and then maybe put something along, maybe just right here. We'll see. And so I can easily see where the trees are that I need to get rid of. I am just going to paint all this brush away, just like so. And now I can delete those trees. Okay, all the trees are out of the way now. Very nice. I did have a couple municipal subsidy signs that I had to get rid of, but I think the fact that we have almost $20 million in the bank account means we probably don't need any more municipal subsidies, so I'm okay getting rid of those. Now, let's think about painting this grass in, get another bit of a driveway going, and we'll move this shed over to here. So let's hop in the sky and get that done. I don't think I'm going to run this patch of concrete all the way to the road. I think what my plan is to put the shed here and then kind of just build another sort of drive from the main driveway to the road over to this shed. I don't know if I'll actually stick to it, but let's pretend like we will. Okay, we've got our pad laid out. Let's delete this shed. We'll go back into our sheds, find the exact same one. And I'm going to put it just like so, I think. Actually, I'll move it just a bit up here. Let's get it on the same grid. We'll say right around there. Very nice. And I was going to say I have one more tree to get rid of, but I think I will keep that there. Now, like I said, I do want to build a little bit of a kind of path from here, just like so. And I probably don't need all of this. Could probably do something like that. Just curve it a little bit, make it kind of look a bit nicer. There we go. And I think at some point, if I wanted to, I could even put another smaller shed right here. For now, I don't think I will, so I'm just going to fill it in with some trees, just like we had the other time. I actually do want to move some of these trees a bit closer to the road. Very nice. And then let's also put some brush in, just like we had before. We got rid of some of it that we probably didn't need. And I'm getting brush on the main road. I hope the council doesn't care about that. And then we'll just line this all with some brand new bushes. And I can tell that they are different. I'm not too worried about that. I think what I am going to do is, I think this is the kind that I was using. Yeah, I'm just going to sprinkle them in, I think, just so we have some different shrubs in here. Just like that. Very nice. And we'll get a bit more on the back side here, just so it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. Beautiful. And then what I will also do is I'll put some trees, some more trees just along here. I'm going to see if I can tuck these 3 corn headers into about enough space where I can also get the planter, and that would be kind of nice if I could do that. But I also do want to put a new shed right here. These were the ones that I was using. I'm going to try and not go back to them. I want to see if there's something, another kind of shed that I can use. Maybe something like this. I'm not too sure. If I can get something that's deep enough, like this would be deep enough, but it would also go into the opposite building, so that's kind of redundant. But if I can get something deep enough that I can actually put the corn header, you know, if it's not all the way covered, it's not the end of the world, but if I can get some cover in it. So I wouldn't even mind something like this, although it doesn't really match with the color of the rest of the farm. It doesn't seem like I can change the color on it, so I'll keep looking. So in all honesty, I think the best option is going to be the one that we had here previously. So I am going to place it back down. Thankfully, we don't have to move those 2 implements out of the way. I might be able to squeeze the planter in there. I'm not 100% sure. But at least I think I'm using a bit better use of this space, as now I do have a drive that comes right into the sort of the heart of the garages instead of having to go all the way around. And I do have a place to put my corn headers as well, so not the perfect solution, I suppose, but it'll do. Okay, and before I continue on with some of the farm renovations, it does look like our sprayers are done on all the fields they are on currently, so I'll get them moved over to the next round of fields, which I don't think they're going to be any other fields after the ones that I get covered in this round, I guess, so we should be done with this fertilizing after this. There we go, first fertilizer's going. Bit off the mark for the start of the course, but there goes fertilizer number 2 on the next field. That's another fertilizer sprayer going on a new field that needs to be sprayed. Now, in the last fertilizer sprayer that needs to be moved over, I do actually have 2 fields over here. This very small patch of sugar beet, and then another bigger patch of sugar beet on the field just below it. So I'll get this one knocked out really quick and then get it moved over onto the other one. Okay, just like that, this field is done. It genuinely probably took 45 seconds. The width of this sprayer on this size of field is maybe a bit overkill, but I do love the efficiency. Now let's get this guy set up on a course, and this will actually be the last field that we have to spray. There we go, very nice. Okay, now back at our little weekend project, if you want to call it that. I do want to do a bit more landscaping just around here, add a couple more trees. I will actually need to move this planter out of the way first, so while I'm doing that, we might as well... okay, this wasn't quite exactly what I was thinking, but I thought we were going to be able to just kind of drag it into place, but this works. Easy enough. And I can already tell that there is some terraforming I'm going to have to do. As you can see, for some reason when I place this shed down, it caused some issues with the terrain. So let me hop in the sky and get that sorted, as well as getting this landscaping done. Alrighty, I think this is about everything I want to do. As you can see, I got this little bit of landscaping done. Looks very nice, just kind of separating the driveway from the shed, as well as I got some landscaping done between all of these different sheds. And I think that this should be enough of a driveway that we can pull our headers into here pretty comfortably and get them straightened out. So I guess the next thing that I need to do is hop in our pickup truck and get these headers moved into there, and then that'll be all I really want to do for this part of the farm. Alright, as you can see, just as I parked the pickup, we were able to get all the corn headers moved over. Thankfully, all 4 of them did fit in here with the planter. I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to pack them this tight with the combines when I pull them in, so I might have to pull them in with the truck, which isn't the end of the world. But I'm really happy with how this looks now. We have a bit more utilization of our space. You can see we've still got the lime spreader as well as the forage wagon in this shed here. We did sell one, but ended up just buying the exact same kind. I might switch the color of it over, but for now we'll leave it how it is. And I am really happy having this driveway here. I think it is going to help with efficiency, getting to and from some of these top fields. Instead of having to go all the way around, we can now just cut out right through here and head over to Big Field North. As well as Field 25, we don't have to go all the way around the sugar beet harvester shed. So just a bit more efficient, I think, which I'm happy about. Now, I know the fertilizer spreaders are done in the field, so I will get those rounded up. This guy's still got a little bit to go, but by the time I get the rest of these rounded up and back to the shed, I will, it should be done. So I will get these fertilizers put away, and then we can get into the grapes. Alrighty, just back in the last of the fertilizer sprayers into the shed. Very nice, we've got all 4 of them put away, so we can make our way over to the grape shed and get started with that. Okay, just over by our grapes now. So I believe what we need to do on these is we need to run through them with the mulcher to start. And then after that, we want to hook up the cultivator, run that through. And then once we get those 2 things done, we can get on the fertilizer sprayer and spray these. And then I think they should be good until they're ready to harvest, which I do believe takes about 6 months. So we'll hop in our New Holland TK 110 and we will get it hooked up to the mulcher and we'll get started on this field, or vineyard, I guess now. The first time I've had to switch that up. So we just take it easy, get into place where we can hook up. Very nice. And then let's get mulching our first bit of grapes. This is the first ever bit of grape work I have ever done before. So I'm very excited to see how it goes. I'm excited to see how long it takes, what the working widths are like, how hard it is to drive these tractors. Everything's going to be brand new to me. So here comes mulching for the first time. Now I don't, as I crash into the first bit of vines, I don't know how accurate you have to be. Like, I can see there's still a bit under the vines that are getting caught. I don't know if that affects the yield. I don't know how these things work. There's a lot of unknown, so I guess we'll find out with this first round that we do. But that's our very first pass of any sort of grape work I've ever done in FS22. How exciting. And thankfully it didn't actually take too long. So it is a bit tricky lining these things up. I think I might have missed a bit back there, but you can see now those bits of grass under the actual grapes themselves are getting knocked out by the mulcher. So I think we're doing the right thing. Yeah, you can see here just up on the left, there's still a bit of grass under the vine, so I will need to go back and get that. Driving with these collisions actually does make it kind of tough, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it takes a bit of getting used to, but hopefully I'll be able to figure it out eventually. Okay, there we go. Got that little bit that we missed on the last pass, so we can continue on our way with the rest of it. There we go. I think that's the first pass I did that I didn't actually miss anything. Starting to get the hang of it. Okay, just finishing up the last pass of mulching here. I am definitely starting to get the hang of it. I do have a feeling like maybe the tracks aren't the best choice because they are kind of sensitive compared to what wheels would be, so it's kind of hard to get that super fine movement. But as you can see here, they are fully mulched. Didn't take too long, maybe 10 minutes, and it goes along pretty quick as long as you don't get caught up. What if you can get a good straight line and not get caught up in these every 4 or 5 feet, it goes pretty efficiently. But there were definitely some passes it took me a couple turns, and I did have to go over some passes because it is a bit tricky, you know, getting the mulching done without running into that post, and also getting it done under the post. So bit of a learning curve, but so far it's going pretty well. Let's hook up to the cultivator in the other tractor, and we'll get the cultivating done on it. So we will just pull up once again to the vineyard, make sure that our cultivator is dropped. Hopefully, now that this isn't my first time running up and through these fields, it'll be a bit easier. But I will check in with you guys as the cultivation goes along. Just about halfway through the cultivating for these grapes. I must say, I don't know if it's the implement or I've just gotten a bit better at driving through these grapes. This has gone by a lot easier. It's been a lot more manageable than the mulching was. I'm not sure, again, like I said, what it is, but I'm bumping into the actual poles way less, and I'm also I haven't had to go over a spot another time, so I'm not missing anything as I do the pass, which is really helping speed things up. Okay, so that is all the cultivating that we need to do. Like I said, it was definitely much easier than the mulching. It probably took about 3/4 the amount of time, maybe even half. And I didn't really miss any parts, so there was only one time where I had to back up a little bit and get just a little patch that was still under the vines. But we can get the cultivator put away. I will then hook up to the sprayer, and I do believe that the spraying is a bit, I'll say, easier. It has a working width of 5 meters, so I think we don't actually have to go up and down every row. It's only every other row, but I will get it checked out. But actually what I need to do first is get it filled up with fertilizer. And instead of heading all the way over to the other multi-fruit buying station, I think I am just going to put one just right here that will service our vines. So we just have to pull over and we can fill up with fertilizer. There we go. What I am going to do to test it is I'm going to start between these 2 rows and see how much it fertilizes. So let's get started. Yeah, and it seemed like it will just do these 2 rows, which means I will have to skip every other row, which means that this process will be even quicker than the other 2. I do wonder how healthy it is to be in an open cab while all this fertilizer is getting sprayed into the air. It must be great for my lungs, I would think. And it actually just so happens to work out perfectly that I don't waste any fertilizer doing just an outside row and only getting half of it. I'm able to keep it all in between 2 rows of vine, so just the last little bit to do here, and then I believe I will hop out of the tractor and go up and see to make sure that they are fully fertilized. But this should be it, and we should be done with all the grape stuff. Let's just hop out and check. Oh, it does say that it's only at about 70%. So I wonder if that means that I need to actually go on and spray a couple more layers, because underneath the yield bonus, it does say it's only 36% fertilized. So I will have to keep in mind the next time I sleep through the month to come back out and spray these grapes, but it really doesn't take too long. It only took me about a minute and a half to do this entire patch. So let's get this fertilizer sprayer put away, and then I think I have one more thing to do before we wrap up this episode. Okay, grape equipment is done and put away for now. Like I said, I will have to go back over these grapes and spray them once more again next month, but for now I want to head all the way to our pens, and there's a lot of stuff that needs to be either dropped off at production chains, put in silos, and then as well all these animals need to be fed. So I'm going to bring you guys along for that, and I can show you a bit what that process is like. So to start, what I will always do is hop in this truck here. It's got a liquid tank on it, I guess, and first thing I do is I pull up beside the slurry dump point, and I pick up all the slurry that is sitting in this barn, so I'll let that run because there's probably going to be over 150,000. The next thing that I will do is I will hop in our truck that has the food mixer on it. And usually what I'll do is I'll check in this silo, make sure that we don't have any extra TMR sitting in here that we used from the last feed. We do. We have only about 8,000, so I'll get that filled into the truck. And then I will head over to this mixing production point, which automatically mixes TMR for us. We've got 350,000 sitting in there right now. I have modified it for the capacity, so it does hold quite a lot of TMR, but we're able to get one full load of feed into this truck and get it put into the cow shed, or the cow barn, I should say. It holds about 340,000, I believe, in and around that range. These cows eat that much every 2 months, I would say. Usually the food lasts about 2 months before I have to refill it. So we'll get this guy unloading, we'll let him do his thing. The next thing that we'll look at doing is hopping in this tractor here, sorry, not the semi, into this tractor. I've already got 170,000, almost 180,000 liters of wheat in here currently. And as long as I can make it to it, I don't need to add any more wheat to this grain cart. So what I can do is I can just pull alongside these chicken coops, smash the pipe into the side of them. Sometimes I line it up better than others. Just one of those things. There we go. And this guy will automatically dump the wheat into the chicken coop so that these guys are fed. They take about 19,000 liters each when they're completely empty. And what's nice is I can just drive in a straight line, dump all the wheat off that we need to at these guys, and then put it right back into the shed. So it doesn't take very long. I have been doing this for a while, so I've kind of figured out a pretty efficient way that I can get it done. I don't know, it usually takes me about 10 minutes top to get all the animals taken care of and get everything put away where it needs to be. So that is the chickens for the most part done. We've got them fed, the cows fed. The last thing we need to do is feed the sheep. So what I do is I just hop in this truck that has a decent sized bucket on the back of it. I'm actually low on grass right now, so I'll head to this silo to fill it up. And then what I'll do is I'll head over to the sheep pens and get the grass put into those. All right, we've got now just over 100,000 liters, which will be more than enough to feed the sheep. So I'll just drive over here and we'll unload into this first pen, pull up beside it, find the trigger, there we go. And as you can see, they don't take very much. They should only take about 12,000 liters thereabouts. Oh, sorry, closer to 20,000 liters. So I was off by just a bit there. And then what I'll do is I'll just do a quick U-turn and we pull right up beside the trigger for the other pen as well, and we can get that unloaded. Okay, so that's the sheep fed, which means all of our animals are now fed. I'll back this truck back into this little garage here and then hop right away into the truck that's right beside it, like so. Actually, before I do that, what I will do is I will hop over to the liquid tank truck. We've got 250,000 liters of slurry. I have some silos right here that I just dump in and let it stock up until it's ready, until they're full, and then I sell those silos off, get all the profit from the slurry without having to drive it to the BGA and back, because it would take a couple trips. So while that liquid tank unloads, I am going to hop in this truck that was beside the truck with the sheep feed. I'll pick up all the pallets of wool, which thankfully all fit right on this truck, do a U-turn and head down to the spinnery to drop this wool off. Not a far drive at all over to the spinnery. We can drop that wool off, and then I'll use this truck to collect all the eggs from the chicken coops. It is a bit tricky and takes a bit of finesse. I have gotten better as I've done this, but what I'll do first is I'll run alongside all the coops so that we can pick up sort of all the eggs that are at the front of it. Seems like we're already full for some reason, which we shouldn't be. Let's let those drop. There we go. Now we should be able to pick them up. So let's do a little U-turn again. That doesn't normally... Oh no, I'm sending my eggs flying. Whoops. We'll get back to them later. I don't know why they were flying. But we will just pick up all these eggs along here, just like so. Very nice. That's our first load of eggs. And then what I usually do, if you saw it last episode, I just stack them on the other side of this path, just beside this barn right here. So I'll unload them. Very nice. And then I will head back to the first coop to pick up the rest of the eggs and just kind of go in and out of them until I've gotten all the eggs moved over there. So I'll see you when that is done. So I thought I actually would show you guys how I get into these pens. So I just back on up, it just barely fits through this door. We should be able to get most of the eggs onto it right away, and then I'll just come over and help these last little bits out, and then we can drive right on out, and that's that chicken coop done. Okay, so that's the last of the eggs dropped over there. What I can do now is put this truck away. I'm going to check to see if the cow barn needs any straw, and if it does, I will get some put in there. And then I will also make sure that we get the milk loaded up into the liquid tank. So actually I'll run right over there and check now. Yeah, this guy is done unloading. So what we can do is, because it's a game and I don't actually care about sanitary people, and I also don't see the people that buy my products, I put the milk right into the tank that had the slurry in it. We'll let that load up, and then the next thing I can do is hop into our semi truck, and we'll get all those eggs that I took out of the coop and just put beside the barn. I will get all those loaded up into the semi trailer. All right, last of the eggs are loaded in. I will just put this trailer back into the shed for now. Sometimes I'll take those eggs to a production point if they need it, but I just recently stocked up, so they should be okay. And I honestly am surprised that this shed is still standing with the amount of times I've knocked into it with this semi trailer. There we go. We'll just park it right there. And like I said, let's head over to the cow barn to see if it needs straw. It does. It is definitely out of straw. So let's hop in the exact same truck that I used for the cow feed. We're going to dump off the rest of this TMR like so back into this silo, because we aren't able to put it back into the mixer. So there we go. And then we can get some straw loaded into this trailer just like so. We'll let that fill up, and while it's filling up, I'll hop into this. We've got 93,000 liters of milk. I do have a silo over here that I store all my milk in until my production points need it, so I will drop it off just over here where the rest of the food silos are. Very nice. So that can empty, and then I will head back to here, get the amount of straw I need in there, and then I can dump it into the barn. Okay, so I believe we need about 2,000 straw, and I'm just 29 liters over. That might be the closest I've ever been to getting it right on the money. But to unload the straw, all we have to do is just pull it into the top half of this barn, and we won't get a trigger anymore for some reason, but we just need to unload it right here. Okay, very nice. So as you can see, we are just 29 liters over. But that is really it. That's all that it takes to feed our animals. It doesn't take long at all. I've been able to get it down pretty efficient, and I mean, to be fair, I'm using what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different vehicles just to get the feeding done. So that definitely contributes to the speed and efficiency I can get it done with, because I can just let one thing start off while I go do another, take care of it in another vehicle. So I will just get this truck put away back into this little shed right here, and that'll be it for the animal feeding. Well, folks, that is all that I have for you today. I hope you guys did enjoy this episode. I sure did. I'm really happy with what we got done. We've got all our fields fertilized, so they just need to grow now. We took care of grapes for the first time, so that was a fun new experience. Lots of learning for myself. And then finally, I showed you guys what it takes to feed all of these animals on the farm. So like I said, I hope you guys did enjoy it. I hope you guys are having a great day. And if you liked this video, I would really appreciate if you left a like, comment if you have any suggestions or questions, or any feedback in general. I'd love to hear your guys' feedback. And finally, subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.